I'm Sean, one of the owners of Prevail Strength and Fitness, and I just want to give you a quick rundown on what is it, right? And so as we're going through the studio, I'll kind of give you a breakdown of kind of what we do, how we do things differently, and how that may be important to what you want to have happen to yourself, right? So as we kind of walk through the studio, I'm going to point out a few things that make us pretty unique. One is that as we come into the studio, you can see the room isn't that big. It's a 2,500 square foot studio, right? Inside the studio, there are two main things: our personal training and then small group strength training. Small group strength training be the bulk of what we do here at the studio. And we want to keep the room intentionally small because we want to stay intimate without it being intimidating. And a few things we've done for that is we've made it just big enough to handle the right amount of people for the right amount of sessions, not too small and not too big. These sessions, the room, the programming, the gear, the racks, everything is built to handle 16 people comfortably so that everyone has a place, everyone has their own stuff, and you're not waiting around a bunch, you're not having to share things, right? And there's lots of variations of different loads and weights and progressions, regressions of stuff, so they're always meeting the person where they're at. So we cap the room at 16. Most of our sessions average around 10 to 12-ish people a session depending on the times. The times are AM, early AM, mid-AM, mid-afternoon, evening time, most days of the week. And the way a membership works at Prevail is that you have access to come to those sessions and use that schedule however you want. So think about that as like reserving a spot at a movie theater, right? You pick up, see the movie, you see all the times and the days, you just pick the time you want to go. That's how a membership works here when you come in for group training. All right, so let's go over a couple things very unique to us, right? One of the things is you can look over on that wall, you can see that multicolored board and that one over there, right? That's like a martial arts belt system of a board that we created in-house. And what that is there's 9 patterns on that board, and there's 20 different lines of weights, regressions, progressions, variations, percentages of body weights, and really just kind of tells us where we are in our strength and ability. Because when we say something like, hey, I want to get stronger, I want to lose weight is really easy to document, and it's easy to tell, right? Is body fat percentage going up or down, right? But when it comes to strength, it's hard to measure that. And so we've created a system so we can accurately and predictably and repeatedly measure our strength. And that's that board, that multicolored line. So we can tell, where am I in my deadlift? Where am I in my press? Where am I get up? Where am I in my plank? And all these 9 patterns of movement that we teach here at the system. What's cool about that is that when you go through your onboarding, which everyone goes through 5 one-on-one sessions to start before they get into group. We call that Prevail Power Pack because alliterations are fun. And in those 5 personal training sessions, one's all going to be about you, your goals. It's going to be about nutrition. It's going to be goal setting, 30, 60, 90 days. And then the next 4 sessions are all going to be movement assessment, movement education, and movement testing. And really what that means to you is how do I do an exercise? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right for my body type? And am I doing the right weight? And that's what we're trying to figure out. And we're going to learn that in a one-on-one situation before you get to group, right? Another thing that's going to be very unique is you can kind of look over there to this multicolored stickers on all these binders. Yeah. So as you see that, everyone in the room, right, is going to have that binder, and they're going to have a reference to where they are. Those sticker colors refer back to the board, and then once a quarter, we're going to swing back in, check in on that board, and see how much stronger we've gotten in all of our patterns. That's something very unique to the Prevail system. So you're going to align that Power Pack, those 5 one-on-one sessions, those quarterly reassessments, those quarterly individual reassessments for our goals. And then what we're going to do for inside the studio, right, is we're going to do strength training. You can see that multicolored board back against the back wall. It's got these tans and greens, and it's kind of a rust color, right? Those 3 different days are 3 different styles of sessions we teach here at Prevail. So you've got one day that's lift, and that's going to be heavy. 1 to 7, 1 to 8 repetitions, and that's going to be big patterns, traditional good strength training. That's all you're going to do for that hour. Another day is going to be build. That's going to be higher repetitions. That's going to be compound and single joint exercises. So think biceps, triceps, delts, glutes, abs, right? And that's going to be those higher rep ranges, more of that muscle pump, time under tension burn feel. And then the last one we have is a hybrid day. That hybrid day is going to be more of a traditional like strength and conditioning day. You're gonna see something that's functional, you're gonna see something that's breathy, you're gonna see something that's a muscle pump. It's a little bit sprinkling all different styles of session kind of mashed up into one day. As you come through the week, those sessions are not always consistent. It's not that Monday is always lift day and Tuesday is always this day, right? It's not a lower body and upper body or strength cardio. Those 3 different styles are gonna be in a very intentional variety so that every week you come in, your week is never gonna look exactly the same. But the cool part about our system and our program is that we use progressive overload. So inside of 1 quarter, you will see workouts repeat, but you won't know when they're repeating. And that's us like flirting with that line of doing something random all the time, which is fun for variety, but it's not good for progress. And then you have traditional programs that are the same workout week after week after week. We split that middle right there where we kind of have a little bit of both. We have intentional variety, but we have progressive overload. So you will see some of those days repeat themselves, but when you come in, your Monday might look like a lift day, and then their next Monday might look like a hybrid day. Your next Monday might be a lift day again, or might be a different lift day than before. So it's a fun mix between variety and structure, but we're still gonna have that structure in there, okay? And that's super unique to us. Inside of all that program, you're looking at 80+% of all of our sessions are gonna be lifting and muscle focused. So we're only gonna see like 13% of the sessions gonna be cardio anything. And when we do cardio, that's generally gonna be something like a cardio interval based, something kind of a 1-to-1, 1-to-2 kind of interval based, what we call HIRT conditioning, H-I-R-T, high intensity repeat training, right? Which is just a smarter version of doing HIIT training. That pretty much sums up like how we do things at Prevail. We get some questions like, is there easy classes, are there beginner classes, is there advanced classes? No, and the reason that we don't have that is because every single session, we don't have arbitrary standards like everyone do 100 pounds for 100 repetitions, right? We're gonna say, here's a couple patterns we're gonna focus on for the next 20 minutes. And inside the room, you may see 12 different people, not only lifting a different load, like a different actual weight, but you may see 12 people doing different regressions or progressions of patterns that meets them to where they are as an individual, so that we're never under or overworking, which is kind of like this Goldilocks, like the mama bear, papa bear, baby bear, kind of like just warm enough feel. And that's where we're going to get everyone when they're coming into sessions. With having that lower class number, it allows for the instructor to instruct, right? It allows the instructor to make modifications, it allows them to make individualizations fast, and allows them to lean into that system that's gonna make everyone so much definitely smarter, but stronger, and more capable, more durable. It's gonna reduce injuries, and it's also going to increase that accountability and increase that ability to want to come in, because you're like, oh yeah, I know that I'm doing the best for me. I just happen to be in the room with other like-minded, dope, growth mindset type people who want to get the best out of their hour as well. That's basically what you see from the studio. As you can kind of see, we have lots of stuff. Dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, racks, cables, bands, plates, turf, steps, benches, all of that, because we want to give you guys the best variation of how to get exercise best for you when you're doing exercise. So you have lots of like ways to get things heavier and lighter, easier and harder all the time. So after you've seen that, right, hopefully if you have any other questions, you can definitely reach out to us. You can get on our website. If you're already on the website, you can drop your name and email, DM us on socials about any questions about how we do things. If you think about what you've seen in the past, we are not a HIIT gym, we are not a boot camp, we are not a CrossFit, right? We are traditional strength training, a little bit of flair to it, right? We onboard with personal training, so we're right in the middle of that space between high intensity, jumping around, heart rate based exercise, right? That's a very small percentage of what we do. We have the strength training side, but we're not heavy like powerlifting, crossfitting side. We're right in between that middle ground of that mix between strength training and muscle building, sprinkled cardio on top.
How do you get started?
How do you get started? 2 ways you can get started. 1, if you're currently doing some sort of exercise, right, you can drop in for a 3 for 43, which is a 3-session trial membership, and that will allow you to come in, get a good feel for like how sessions are working, what the people are like, what the workouts are like. And then if not that, what we prefer is to have a time where we can come in and have a conversation, which is an extension of this conversation, where we get to know more about you. What are your goals? what's your past, where are you trying to go, what kind of roadblocks or kind of like big things do we want to like help you get to, what's your number one priority, and then that way we can kind of establish and get a little more prescription-based idea of, are we a good fit for you, are you a good fit for us, are we going to help you get to where your goals want to go. And we do that in a one-on-one, no sweat chit chat, just walk around the studio talking about how things are going and if we're going to be a good fit for each other. So there's two ways: schedule a no sweat chit chat or drop in for that 3 for 43. There you go. Look forward to seeing you.